This is a clip taken from my conversation with Jussim, distinguished social psychologist who, while on the left, opposes woke ideology. In this clip, we discuss our views on Black Lives Matter. To see a more detailed explanation of my views, check out the video description. I'm totally in favor of consciousness raising about implicit biases that are real. Let's just not there is racism, but let's not act like a problem that's this big is this big, for example. You know what I mean? And let's not browbeat people for disagreeing with you. It's like, just because I disagree, for example, I am not in favor of Black Lives Matter. That doesn't mean that I think Black lives don't matter. I don't agree with the tactics. I don't agree with a lot of the underlying philosophy behind it. Yeah. But I think Black people's lives matter? Of course. Yeah, right? Like, technically speaking, literally everybody but sociopaths and people with severe mental think Black lives matter. Even white supremacists think they matter. That because if they didn't think they matter, they wouldn't care. They're just like, they just don't like them.
So I have reservations about Black Lives Matter because of the upshot of the movement, which I now think at this point there's more evidence that it has harmed Black people more than it's helped, mainly by virtue of the efforts to, sometimes was framed as defunding the police, but even without the defunding, it so stigmatized police that you had what's called police retreat. So police nationwide have retired in droves, and even when they haven't retired, have really backed off of intervening in communities. And so you have these crime spikes around the country, which disproportionately have victimized Black people. So Wilfred Riley, who's a political scientist who studies this sort of in the spirit of Thomas Sowell, and he's very Sowell-like in some ways, has published a slew of essays. I mean, he mostly writes books and essays. He doesn't do the review thing as much, documenting this sort of dramatic rise in the murder rate within Black communities. So, there's some number of, there is a bona fide reduction in police killings really of civilians generally, but of Black civilians. So you have some improvement on that score, but it's just dwarfed by the rise in okay, so there's that. But just on the slogan itself, I mean, it's more, the point is, my understanding is that the point is that the society has not always acted like Black Lives Matter, or that they don't matter as much. And so the point of the slogan is to, really kind of put an exclamation that, you, American society, have not, we need to say that. This needs to be said because the society has not acted like it's actually true. And the society needs to start acting like it's true. Mm-hmm. And that, there's truth to that. That is not a ridiculous point.
No, I remember years ago, Family Guy made a joke.
Something to distract him. Like all of America gets distracted whenever a cute white girl dies.
We regret to report that not all the children on board the school bus survived. We have identified the body of one victim, 9-year-old Becky Gunderson.
Oh.
No, wait. That's Becky Gutierrez.
Oh. That's not news.
So it wasn't black. It would be Hispanic in that case. In the next clip, which will be dropping in the next day or two, Lee and I will be discussing how corruption within the American political system gave us the Trump presidency and how it will continue to make people unexpectedly receptive to celebrity candidates. We also discuss Trump derangement syndrome, something that Lee believes is real, despite being so anti-Trump himself that he helped organize a highly active anti-Trump indivisible movement in his own state. If you're interested in hearing the rest of this conversation, or if you're just interested in hearing deliberately balanced, constructive consideration of contentious, difficult, important issues, subscribe.